Perfect. Now pause it. We'll let it wait until a couple more people pop in. In
Yeah,
the
the
meantime,
note. Go ahead.
oh no, sorry. I was just going to say,
Oh,
if you wanted to pop into the chat, let us know where you're calling in from.
my telephone. There's a
Oh,
smart aleck in every crowd. The other note takers are nice because they give provide notes, summaries at the end.
that's funny.
I'm
I've had
happy
that
to
once.
share.
Like, where are you from? He's like, my parents.
I like that one too. I'm in a little town called Carrier, Mississippi right now, but I'm from Broomfield, Colorado. Family down here. Well, actually, I'm where I was born
Right on.
just a couple of
Right
years
on.
ago.
Awesome. Don, welcome. Where are you calling in from?
I'm just outside of Chicago. Oh, Natan, you're speaking. I thought that was Joe.
Nope,
Ah,
not yet.
no worries. How's it going?
Pretty well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you.
Good.
Do I pronounce your name Nerdis? Am I
Like
close?
Lourdes, but Nordis.
Nordis. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I also have a unique name which never works well. So, yes, I feel your pain. Where are you calling in from?
Miami, Florida.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So how do you pronounce your name?
Like Lourdes, but Nordis.
Yeah, I heard you. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Natan, Nat name.
Yes, you got me right. I was
Natan.
impressed.
Ah,
No correction needed. I was impressed.
when you got a weird last name like mine, you get sensitive.
I like that. The pronunciation is key. And is it pronounced Joe? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you got that one right. There you go.
Awesome. 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 Joe is your host with the most, and it's exciting to have so many wonderful people here. Oh, we got Elena coming in. Let me let her pop in.
I would pronounce it Giuseppe actually myself, but that's just me.
You can work with all kinds of different variants on it. It's all good.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, you guys, I'm happy everybody is here. We're going to have some fun today. It is a very, very unique event when we're looking at coming across and coming together where the big focus is on HR and really specifically making it the type of place that is a happy place because it's often neglected in the companies. Happiness is not, that's not in the protocol. That's not in the manual. It's not what's important. And I'm like, really? Because it kind of, they got that expression, happy wife, happy life. I'm like, how can that not apply to work? There's got to be a parallel that we can draw somewhere in there. Here we go. We've got a couple other people popping in. So let me put it on gallery view so we can see everybody. Awesome, awesome. And Mike, if you're able to pop in, say, where are you calling in from, man?
Southern Maryland, right outside of DC.
Ah, awesome, awesome. Joe, where are you calling in from?
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hmm. I am the only guy in Montreal that doesn't speak French, so I moved about an hour out in the country. Now they leave me alone. Very happy. Works out perfectly. Dr. Damador, how are you?
Good, good. I'm joining from Michigan.
Oh, wonderful. See, he knew exactly what to say. He's on point. Thank you, sir. I love that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a good number of us here. I think we can get the party started. Joe, if you want to be watching for participants that want to be popping in,
Yeah, gotcha.
thank you kindly. So, where we wanted to really come together today and focus on where the voice is missing and where it's not being heard and where it could possibly be a little bit louder, a little bit clearer, a little bit more heartfelt. It's for shaping that thinking of that future work that we're looking for. So we're going to be sharing best practices. We're going to be walking and talking, and this isn't it's not a webinar. It's not a workshop. It's not we're not selling, we're not telling, we're not pitching, we're not teaching. This is meant for everybody to really, really share what's working, what's not working. If it feels comfortable, be open, be vulnerable, see if there's any way that we can just, like the tide rises all boats. That's why we really wanted to come together with that. And Joe has an incredible background and he has an incredible story. And he's also uniquely gifted in this arm because the way that he plays is completely out of left field. And I love that. And that's what makes it delightful and surprising. So, in that context, I'm going to ask Joe, take a minute, give us a little more meat on the bones. Tell us a little bit about you. and then we'll go around the room. We'll take 30 seconds, a minute, everybody, and give me a little bit of background about you. Now we know where you're calling in from. Thank you.
Yeah, so the quick background behind me that wanted me to have this conversation about the HR is, like most people, after they write a book, they get told to go do the speaking tour. And I did the same thing. And what I found was, with so many events that I was at presenting, was that basically HR did all the work to get people there. And on top of it, they weren't getting the benefits for the events that they really wanted. You do an event in Vegas or something, yeah, sure, everyone's happy, they're going to have a party, but you don't get any of the team building. There's so much headaches of making sure no one gets a DUI and all that fun stuff. And I just basically sat around and goes, there has to be a better way of doing this, where, first off, the people who are creating the party for you should be celebrated. And second, those that are participating in it should be able to have the full effect in which you're trying to get out of it, which is the team building, the camaraderie, and the recognition for everything that you're doing there. And that's really where part of this conversation was stemming from, was how do we go about and doing that so that your guys are celebrated and HR is celebrated for all the work they put into, rather than constantly coming out with one side of the fence angry. Regardless of how good of a decision you is, someone's already upset with it. And that's not how I play. I believe in everything should be a win-win, and that's why I want to basically have this conversation, introduce it into this space.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Please pick the next victim. I mean, volunteer.
All right, Don, you're below me on this list, so we'll just go like that.
Gee, thanks.
You're the middle square.
Thank you, Joe. I'm Don Ehlert. I'm an executive career coach. I work with people 45 years old and older for the executive suite, trying to help them find their next role. Also provide outplacement services, which is the same program I've been basically implementing for the last 6 years, that was built by the prior 15 years to create this program to make sure that people land the place they want to land next. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Natan.
Like that. Next person, Don, pick them.
Nordis, I picked on you earlier, so it's your. Try to be nice to you and throw you a bone and say, you go first.
Thank you. Nordis Gomez, I'm the Director of People Operations at EMED. And I also have a side hustle of Grow Bravely, which is coaching and consulting. I'm a ACC ICF accredited coach and Center for Executive Coaching Level 2.
Awesome.
Oh, very cool.
I can go next. Yeah, I'm Damodar. As I told you, I'm joining from Michigan. So I'm co-founder and chief growth officer of a AI startup into data privacy. That is Data Safeguard. Yeah, so I look after the marketing, branding, people management, analyst engagement. As you know, startup, you need investment, so you have to manage investors. So I do that. And also on business side, I do business expansion, yeah, so glad to be here. And other than that, also, my wife has a startup. I support her.
Oh, cool. How very cool. Awesome. Pick someone else, Doctor. Who do you want to hear from next? Let's see who. Mike.
Heartland Mike. Here we go. How's everybody? So I am Heartland Mike with Heartland Payroll. I'm an entrepreneur, respectfully serving entrepreneurs. Heartland is a multifaceted, solutions-based company. We do credit card processing. I've worked on that side of the house. I'm in the payroll division now, so we're full HRIS. I tell people I know just enough about HR to be dangerous. I'm not SHRM certified. I was thinking about getting my SHRM, but it's a payroll service. So we compete heavily with the likes of Big Blue and Big Red. You know those names. QuickBooks, Gusto, the other 6,500 payroll companies in America, where you don't get a rep, or you get a rep that quits in 6 months, or you end up talking to the 800 number or talking to the chat bot. All that crap we throw out the window because I own my portfolio. We are very, very unique. Again, I'm an entrepreneur respectfully serving other entrepreneurs, so I understand what they're looking to do. I'm looking to solve problems, make sure that they have a soft place to land there. They have advocate in me. They have an ally in me. We touch all the bases: service, price, and technology, not just two, which would typically be price and technology.
I like
So
that.
I do it all. I'm very friendly with the one-on-ones. I do lots of networking. I'm a referral machine. So chat me up, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's have a one-on-one. I share revenue. So pay you 10% revenue share every month, just like I get paid. So there's lots of advantages to working with old Heartland Mike. I've been in the business for almost 30 years now. And
Mike, all I need to know is if I
oh,
work with you, do I get a t-shirt? I want
sorry.
the t-shirt, man. I
I'm
love the
from
t-shirt.
Chicago, and I'm from Chicago. I'm a military veteran, and I'm a foodie. There you go, Heartland Mike.
Done. Sold. I got a couple things to talk to you about. Good, good, good. Amy, is it Amy or do I call you M? Because I thought that would.
Yeah, so that that's is for another group, showing that I'm a member of another group that I join frequently.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yes, so I came in a little late, so we're just introducing ourselves and what we do.
Where are
Is
you
that
calling in from and a little bit of background on you?
sure? Okay, western suburbs of Chicago, Heartland Mike.
Wow.
Yep. I am the founder of Making the Connection, which is workplace wellness solutions. So I work with HR and business leaders to reduce disengagement, turnover, and stress by implementing holistic well-being solutions and strategies and building a better culture.
I like that. I like that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go with Mark.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Natan. Sorry about that. What do
Oh,
I
worries.
do? Well, first off, I am Mark Intrican, and right now I am back home in Carrier, Mississippi. For those who don't know where that is, that's halfway between New Orleans, Louisiana, and Gulfport, Mississippi, just a few miles north of Bay St. Louis, if you remember Katrina. What do I
Mm,
do? Well, I build bridges, real bridges, not steel bridges, but bridges between people, building unity for everyone in human resources. Have you ever felt, have you ever talked to someone and feel like they didn't listen or didn't remember what you said? I show you how that you achieving unity success formula, 7 simple steps will transform any relationship personally and professionally. So I hope to talk with all of you soon.
oh, thank you. That was wonderful. Oh my goodness. I see a friendly face in the house. Hey, Sarah. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, of course. Thanks for having me. Just popping in to say hello, learn from you
Awesome.
all. Yeah,
Awesome sauce. We work with Sarah as well, Joe. So she's over to come and pop in and definitely somebody you want to say hello. Tell us where you're calling in from. Take a minute. Give us a background on you.
sure. So I'm calling in from outside of LA in Thousand Oaks. I am a business owner for a marketing agency. We do online ads, Google ads, Meta ads, focus on analytics, what's working, what's not. I also manage up to 10 employees, so HR is very top of mind, and we're onboarding some new folks. So wanted to learn some best practices of some things that are outside of my wheelhouse from you all, and kind of learn from some of Natan's other great folks that he has in his network.
Thank you. Wonderful to have you here. So let's ask if you're not on camera, if you can come on camera, awesome. If you're driving, don't hurt yourself and crash and don't worry about it. But Pete, if you can come on camera, Vivian, if you can come on, say hi, that would be awesome sauce. There we go. Hey Pete, how you doing?
Hey guys, Pete Stram from the Pittsburgh area. I had a little bit of an extended lunch. I was planting some tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers. And so I think it's fair to say I'm all about growth. Grew up on a farm, 6'8". So that's another fun fact. I might be one of the taller people on the call. And my day job, I used to build robots for the Army, but now I run an HR tech company. And so love everything that we're hearing out there. But our platform is called Latitude, and it's really created so that nobody has to navigate their professional journey alone. So B2B SaaS, we work with small, medium, large organizations, engagement surveys, mentorship software, career mapping, building a personal board, and then we have a short course in there as well. And similar to Joe, wrote a book, published it about a year ago. Really, really proud of what this has become. So it's all about how do we help people. Do a lot of speaking as well. So one of the other parts that Joe mentioned, alluded to, love connecting the dots. Any
Oh, Pete, that was neat. Your mic kind of went out for the last 10 seconds for some reason. And now as well. Must be that imaginary backflip. I hate it when my mic just says, no, you're not the designated source anymore, and it starts having some fun without you playing along. Oh, Vivian, welcome, welcome. If you'd like to
Hello.
say hello, tell us where you're calling in from. Tell us a bit
Yes,
about you.
I am calling in from Harrisburg, PA. I am an entrepreneur. I started Fresh Consulting. It's a management consulting business, and we focus on helping businesses develop strategic planning, and also we do business funding, helping those that are looking for um, capital to start, scale, or grow their business. And we work with you to help you figure out what it is that you want to do and how to get there. And if you need money along the way, we'll find the best loan for you in the amount that you need to grow your business as well. So that's a little bit about me, and I love cats. So,
Wonderful. What a wonderful group. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started. Now, in the chat, if you could put in just a contact, your name and how we can all connect with each other since we're all very, very like-minded. Joe, I want you to pick the best one for you as well, because I've got a couple for you, so I want to make sure we get the right one. And while you guys are doing that, I'll go last. I'll give you the 30-second background on me. I've been an elite energy coach for about 30 years. I started with Cirque du Soleil, Olympians, national sports teams. I wrote Personal Momentum and Moments of Power. I had about 15,000 people come through my hands as a coach. And then COVID hit. And when I pivoted and came online, I had the worst time. And I thought there'd be others that would as well. So I opened up Allura Creative Agency as the only not-for-profit public relations house in the world. The only thing that we do is hunt whales. So we look for owner, founder, C-suite. We are able to blow a dog whistle to that audience. We have a proprietary methodology where we really, really focus on engagement, commitment to show, fortunes in the follow-ups, and really giving people an incredibly different experience. And that is when, at the end, if it serves you, you take 30 seconds and say, yep, you're right. No selling, no telling, no pitching, no preaching. I love it. Okay. We're sharing the best practices and what we can do and get started with that. So I'll put mine in last. No worries. If anybody that you know, or if I can help you in any way grow and help your brand, that's what we're here for. So for today, Joe, let's start with if we can take one common area of trouble, if we can take one common misconception, a myth, something that a lot of the people that say that work with you originally thought this and now don't. What would be one of the things that constantly pops up that's top of mind that's I guess a thorn for HR right now?
I, I fundamentally believe the way that hiring is forced to be done.
Can we get your mic up?
What,
Can we get you a little more volume? No, there we go. More volume would be awesome, Sauce. Thank you.
Is loud enough now? There we go.
Yes, you're golden.
Joy of these noise canceling mics when you have a jackhammer going off outside. You have to really be loud to get over it. So I fundamentally believe that the way the hiring laws are requiring anyone who's hiring to act is a major starting point disservice. And if you go down the road that the lawyers tell you you have to go or ought to go, you're setting your company up for failure. And I'm not saying break the law. That's not what I'm trying to imply here or anything like that. But the ways in which it goes about creating a position and how to do it are generally the problem. And I blame the law for it. And I'm basically looking to see here is if anyone else agrees with me as far as these problems in that department.
Anybody want to speak to that?
Wow. Yeah. Hiring is a challenge. Some of the things I've gathered over the last few months, anywhere from 500 to 13,000 people apply for an open position at a popular company these days. Everybody's mad at ATSs. Everybody's mad at recruiters. Everybody's mad at HR people. And no one entity is responsible for all of this anger or creating this anger. So it's interesting your perspective on that, Joe. Yeah.
I like that. I noticed that when we're, you read the articles like, don't hire for skill, hire for personality. Do you resonate with people? Do you get along and connect? And I'm like, yes, with a caveat because it's still a job and I still kind of need you to do the thing I need you to do, right? So a mix of that is tricky. Is there anything, Joe, that you've discovered that I guess helps bring some of that out so that if you went through that and you've got both the personality person in play and you got blessed enough to have the skills in play, how do you how do you keep somebody like that engaged and happy and not looking around, you know?
Oh, personally, I changed the incentivization process. I don't have any of my employees are W-2 or salary. They're all basically pay to win, get paid as a result of it, as a result of their function. Every position I create for myself and my other various companies are just this is the task in which you're hired to do so. I generate that task with a direct correlation somewhere to the revenue cycle. And then basically its success pays it off. And if there's not, it doesn't. It really kind of streamlines a lot of what I do with my companies, which is why I want to have this conversation because if it's not tied to revenue, I don't really have a way of doing the compensation correctly. Like if it's really easy to go, hey, you're the marketing person, you need to fill up this bar. So you give a QR code discount. Everyone who brings it in goes, all right, I found your JPEG. So we give you credit for producing that lead. Or, you converted the sale. And that stuff's really easy to tell. What's not easy to tell is did this, security analyst that I hired to make sure that my website doesn't get hacked actually do anything? So as a result, I outsource all that stuff. But still, you're doing an expense just because you're not taking on the payroll side of it doesn't mean you're not taking on the expense of it. So basically ways
I
of
like that.
measuring and metricing it are how I keep my people employed and keep them engaged after the fact because it is either you show up or you don't. But that's also super intimidating to the vast majority of the workforce who are used to just getting a paycheck every other Friday and calling it a day.
Hold
So
that thought. I love that. Notice.
Actually, Society for Human Resource Management just launched their Skills First Future. So that's where SHRM is driving. They sent out the email maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. So I've dropped the link in there. But basically, they're saying because of AI and the way that the workforce is going to completely transform, if you don't focus on skills and skills development and basically reworking job descriptions, you're behind the times. But Joe, connecting to revenue is fantastic. But like you said, some roles just don't have it. They're cost centers. Interesting process, though.
That's right. Sarah, talk to us.
I'm working in recruiting just for my own business, and I just wanted to highlight a trend that I noticed in our recent round of recruiting. We are looking for some backfill for some maternity leave and are offering some like flexible positions, more contractor type positions. And I got an overwhelming amount of response for people who want to be overemployed. So people who have full-time jobs and are wanting some extra money, needing some extra cash, wanting to, pay some extra bills, lots of parents that were wanting to be overemployed. So we kind of worked out some deals where they kind of work on nights and weekends and it's only like 10 or so hours a week and it works for us because it's not a full-time employee and it works for them. But that's not a trend I've ever seen before, of the number of people who are looking for extra money in this economy.
Anybody want to comment to that? And Mark, I remember I saw your hand up if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, thank you, Natan. And I appreciate what Sarah's saying too, because there are a lot of us that enjoy what we do and working for a little bit of extra money. Now I am self-employed, I have my own company. So it's a little bit different, but there is so much that we can do today, and we don't know a lot about what tomorrow brings. So working for that little bit of extra money is very beneficial. And being overemployed is sometimes, maybe most of the time, better than sitting in front of a television, right?
Better than underemployed, no?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I
What's the television
also,
bringing us? I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no, please continue.
What's the television bringing us today? And that's some of the things that I speak on. It's anger and hate and division and frustration and the things that prejudice and things that just are causing so much trouble in the world today. And that's a lot of what we receive from our internet, social media, and from our television. So maybe being overemployed gives us a chance to see more and do more.
Mm.
There's also a lot of fraud. People are working remotely and doing 2 or 3 jobs. So there's an ethical consideration to that. And also, if you do hire someone who's working 2 full-time jobs and they're not sleeping, what is the risk your company is taking?
It's a good point. I remember reading about this executive who got busted that he was outsourcing 80% of all of his work, keeping 80% of his salary and still trying to pull it off and somehow still not good enough. I'm like, so
Okay,
yeah,
I'll touch on that. Let's
please.
talk about that a second. If he's not, he or she, we don't
Yep.
need not judge about the situation, but if a person has a job and they're paying theoretically 100% of the money, and they're feeding them those jobs out to someone else, they're doing the job well, and they're all getting paid. Is that wrong?
Ooh, let's bring that out to the group. Ooh.
Thank
Who are
you.
we to judge?
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to raise my hand on that one. Should we be judging people on the number of hours worked or the outcomes generated? My humble opinion is outcomes generated, but yeah, I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
No, so I vote for the second one. You asked a question, I answered rhetorically. Sorry.
I think it depends on the position, Don, because if you're looking at people that need to get things done, at one point you have to quantify dollars for donuts and make sure that, there's hourly working people in that capacity. But anything outside of that, oh yeah, like look at sales. It is simultaneously the lowest paying entry position in the company, and if you do it well, you can get paid more than the president. It's the highest paying position in the company. It's the same thing. So in that same capacity, you don't need to reward that salesperson. He's already doing the money rewards them. But how do you reward the person that's not in sales? It doesn't get commission. What do you do to incentivize them and make them go, you're critical and you're not a cost center, but dang it, you're not a profit center either. What do we do?
Yeah, sorry, I keep jumping in and I don't mean
Tell
to.
us, Don. This is it's a round table, man.
One of the things that I work with my clients on, particularly at the beginning of the engagement, is quantifying everything. And I will put forth that you can quantify pretty much anything. Not always easy, but it can be done with the right questions to get them thinking in the right way. And I can't tell you that there's any magical twist of phrase that I use, but it's a series of questions that lead us down the path of where that quantification number actually lives. You don't have to be in sales to be able to be quantified. That's I guess that's why I say by outcomes. Mm. And I only work with leaders, executives, director level and above, so I don't have the hourly folks in my corral. And that's where outcomes need to come from is the leadership team. Yes.
And Don, I like what you're saying. I can't raise my hand. And it says, be right back. I don't want to be right back. I want now. But it goes back to the same thing of you said, if you can't quantify it, you can't improve it. If you can't measure it, it's not improvable. So that's what we always have to focus on what we're doing. Are we generating profit back to whoever, if to the company? And for me, I am the company now, I have employees. But if we're not producing income, if we're not receiving income from our customer, I can't write paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, your customer is not going to be satisfied.
And it's neat, even in my world, I have, oh, Amy, go for it. Come on in.
Thanks. So yeah, just curious. So how would you look to measuring like relationship building?
In what capacity? Like a business development manager or?
Yeah, so right. So I'm an entrepreneur and I go business to business. And so a lot of my time is spent forming and building, relationships. So how would I quantify that, or how would you quantify that? So I guess to simplify it, yes, probably a business development manager.
Joe, what do you think?
Anytime you're working, go ahead.
Well, here, Donna, you're the one with your system, so I'll let you start with there, and then I'll go off of that.
Uh, Amy, I suggest that how many virtual coffees or coffee sessions do you set up? How many of them turn into long-term relationships beyond the initial visual? We're all going to have, let's say, 10 virtual coffees a week.
Yep.
That's sake. One of them turns into a partnership. And I've known Joe for 2 years, although we've never done business together. We constantly introduce people to each other that matter.
Mhm.
So sometimes, like I say, it takes what you have to ask yourself the right questions as to what was the outcome of that introduction that I made for Joe 18 months ago. And unfortunately, some of those things don't necessarily bear fruit for 18 months to 2 years, but
Right.
that's the joy of keeping a relationship going, is that you can continue to have those conversations with those people that you resonate with and that are really good, ideal referral partners. And then you can count those. And then at the end of a month, look at it and say, oh, well, I talked to 10 people that were not ideal referral partners month or week 1 and week 2, but I talked to 5 each week, week 3 and week 4. I got to do more of that and less of that.
Nice. That makes sense. Thanks.
Okay,
So,
I was just going to ask, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
For inside the corporation, the way that I look at it is that where the value of the relationships come in and building them successfully is that there shouldn't be a long story short, a blame culture in any capacity.
Right.
Because I get that Don's working at the executive level. I believe that all innovation comes from the hourly people on the ground. They don't necessarily be hourly, but the people who are on the ground interacting with your clients. And the real part of that is that if you look at every business structure, regardless of what the product is, they're all revenue machines. There has to be a connection with your prospects. You have to be able to convert those prospects to want to buy from you, delivering your product on the back end. It doesn't matter whether you're doing payroll services or marketing as your service. You all are doing that as your entity. So just taking those 3 basic components, obviously the more complex your company is, you can evolve this accordingly. If they can interact successfully and be able to not have shackles that have to go up a chain before they can go across, but actually be across at their own levels, you see massive amount of results. So a client that I had a number of years ago, when the Batman movie that had the Joker in it came out, however long ago that was, they were making remote control cars. They like little zoom around, push the button, they drive around, and all of them were black and they kind of looked beefy, and they just weren't moving. They just weren't selling them at all. And one of their marketing guys said, "Hey, can I just try something? If I just make a JPEG with different colors just to see what resonates, and just give me a couple prototypes and see what happens." They made a pink one that makes no sense whatsoever. And they found out that girls love these things for their Barbies. And now on the side of the box, there's no, obviously it's not made by Mattel. So on the side of the box, you just see a pink thing with a blonde hair streak going across the side, and they sell like fire. And that conversation never would have happened if it had to go up the chain before it was allowed to go across all the way up to the executive. So the value of that relationship is the company lives. If not, that company would have died in a pile of black paint, for lack of a better way of doing it. And now it has, moves little Barbie figurines all over the little kids' rooms across country. So to me, that's the value of relationships. It's the not to be afraid, not have to worry about fear or blame, but actually being able to know you're building towards a team and towards success. Now, granted, it's easier if you have metrics to point out how it ties to revenue, especially when you're compensating them. But the revenue part will follow itself if it's going down the pathway of making a better relationship with your clients or your employees. Anything invested in one of those 2 departments should pay itself off.
Thank you.
I
On
like
that
that.
same point, and I like what you're saying with what Amy says and what Don said and Joe. The thing is that I talk about is that achieving unity success formula, and it goes from relationships in the boardroom to relationships in the bedroom and every room in between. We must think better communication, better collaboration with stronger teams, less frustration, and clear understanding. We must be ready to ditch that division, ditch that negativity that we see too often today, and start building connections that truly matter. Let us schedule time to talk because the people that we work with, our communication, our relationships, Amy, are all based on that ability to communicate and collaborate and to see what color green is to you.
All right. HR After Dark. We've gotten spicy here, huh, folks?
I like that. Wow. Okay. Hold on, Sarah. Did you just turn on the neon to literally make it after dark? I love it. Come on, go for it. That's
Woo!
awesome. Oh, this is good. Go for it. Mark, you had a question or a comment? I thought I saw a hand up. No worries. All right. Joe.
That was mine up earlier, but I just got to take it down from earlier. But thanks, Nissan.
This is a great group, isn't it?
I was hoping we would have some fun. I know people take a little bit of arms crossed on their chest to go, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, there is no other shoe to drop. We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We're here to share. We're here to engage. If anything that anybody does can help somebody else, my goodness, like jump together, meet each other, go help out. The stuff that Joe does is so cool and so unique. It tends to help a wide range of people. The stuff that I play with, same. But while it's still wide, it's like all of us. We're very wide within a very narrow scope. So we're really, really good in this corridor. It's a good size corridor, but it's a corridor. So this is an awesome, awesome group and an awesome way to play together. Joe, next idea that we want to go with. Next topic, next. I guess either go best practices or go with what's a concern.
Oh, I find my most success with the incentivization system I build for people. Because I've run into this problem a lot, and Don, you work with a bunch of executives, so you probably see this a bunch too. But long story short, there's a negative return on salary expense. There's a certain point when people just don't care anymore. It's really easy to show in salespeople who have a job that's going to guarantee it'll suck at some point, for lack of a nice way of saying that. Like if you ever look at real estate agents, you're guaranteed that 1 out of at least every 5, if not every 2 closings will be from hell. It just happens every single time. You know that as a real estate agent jumping into the game, and every profession has their own version of that. So people get to a certain point where it's like, I've already hit the threshold where I'm making more than anyone else in my neighborhood. Do I really want to go through and list Betty's house and deal with her dogs that smell like hell and have to tell her that she can't sell this house? Do I really want to take that call? Again, every profession has their example of that. So what I really believe is you got to find some incentives that go beyond just the economics. And there's so many interpersonal ones that, quite frankly, we fail as a country at delivering on. Like I'm talking like basic stuff you live in kindergarten, like appreciating your clients, letting them know that I still value that you did 2 + 2, and I'm not just going to yell at you because you said 5. Like go out and try to do stuff. And this is what Pete's comment was. It's hard to get leadership to buy in sometimes because they're spread the whole time. I'm paying you to do this job. Do the damn job. Well, there's no appreciation in that. There's just, why did you say 2 + 2 is 5? I don't care if it's brain surgery. The lawyer's coming down to you because we're about to get sued. So when that's all the case, how often do we as the leaders in the company give out appreciation? Just as a very basic one. Appreciation is one of 20 different motivating forces, but one that lacks incredibly. How often are we doing that? And that's a free answer. Hey, you did that great. Awesome. It's simple,
but that's what we're. And Joe, you're so right. That's what I preach with my EII. It's called encouragement, inspiration, and including others. That's where we have to be, because how much does it hurt to compliment someone else for what they do? Doesn't matter if they just put their cup in the sink after drinking it. It doesn't matter what they do, but there's something good about everything someone does. And instead of looking toward that negativity, instead of finding something wrong when you walk into a room, find something right. It will improve your meetings. It will improve your relationships. And what you do, if you start looking for something right, the color blue, Joe, that's a great color blue. See, Don, looks like you have on a dark colored shirt. That looks great. Amy, is that a blue? I like what you're wearing. Does that hurt anyone to say that? but it helps the meetings, it helps the relationships, and it helps us all get on the same page to doing something right.
Something we've done at our agency that was like kind of an unintended, really like inspiring thing, was in our Slack channel. We have one of the channels called Shoutouts. And whenever we're on a call or we see something good or we get an email back from a client that was like, hey, thanks so much. This was really helpful. Like we as leaders, like always put into that Slack channel, like shout out to Gabby. She just got great response on that email. And so like it has ended up being more inspiring than I intended it to be. And then everyone jumps in, great job, Gabby. That's awesome. And so like we can really highlight the wins as they're happening.
And
Yeah.
how much does that
So
cost you?
true.
How much does that cost you, Sarah?
30 seconds of time.
Right. And recognition is one of the biggest impact builders of building a great culture.
Yeah. I mean, we
People
all want to be
feel
on a team.
Yeah, people feel seen and heard.
Mhm.
Well,
And again,
so
like I talked about communication, if you feel better, you're going to be open up to talk more. And we get back into things like payroll. How many times is the person that's giving those raises not really sure, kind of, well, I felt that was good, but I gave Johnny this or Janie that. And if we can understand what we're talking about and truly give value, we'll take everything one step forward to being better, right?
And what was Gallup's did a study last year on efficiency, that when there is psychological safety inside the organization, 23% improvement in efficiency.
Without a raise, without anything, right, Don?
That's it. Yep. The appreciation that Sarah was talking about, what you're talking about, communication skills. Yeah,
And
that's
correlated.
quantifying.
They just released a study or March rather, that said that 51% of the American workforce is looking to work somewhere else because they don't feel valued at where they're at. Like everyone walks around when I talk about stuff like this goes, well, that's not my company. Well, like 51% of the workforce, it's all of your company, actually. Like you are the reason. And not to go on a complete different tangent, I thoroughly believe this is the real reason AI is taking over. Because AI in our series and our phone doesn't make money. People make AI selling B2B products. And the reason there's the demand for them has nothing to do with the productivity. The demand for it is because I'm failing at motivating my employees to want to be a part of this and actually build a company together. And I know that AI isn't going to care if I tell it's doing wrong. It's actually going to think it's happy. So that to me is the true reason that this is the demand for AI, because at the end of the day, it's like anything else. There wasn't a market for it. It wouldn't keep growing. And the real problem is because as a country, we fail at motivating our people with the free stuff. So we're paying trillions of dollars for bad subpar answers. What are we doing?
we have to be able to answer that. Sarah, talk to us.
I just have a question as from the gurus that think about this. I've noticed a trend in younger employees that don't seem to be as motivated by money. So we offer bonus structures and overtime and financial compensation as a way of motivating, but that doesn't seem to land with this younger crew. Have you found, we're talking about, giving them kudos and things like that for sure, but like what keeps them from looking for that other job or keeps them happy where they're at that you guys have noticed?
This one does have a cost, Sarah, but how about a day off to go support the walk for the cure for cancer? Have them choose a charity that they appreciate, love, and they resonate with. Give them a day off. Now, yeah, it's going to cost you a day's pay. But if they stay for 5 years instead of 3.5, the cost of retention is nothing compared to the cost of looking to refill a hole. And considerations are, what if they damage a relationship with a valued vendor? How about if they damage your highest performer in your organization, make them angry so they leave instead of the bad person? How about if they damage a customer relationship? How mad will your staff be that they have to do all the work that that person was doing because you got to go refill that hole again? And then you got to do it again in 3.5 years again? Man, I'm burned out. I'm done. So give me, and don't say unlimited PTO either. Nobody ever takes that. They take less time off, which is bad, to your point earlier. People need to have the batteries recharged.
You're 100% right on that, Don. I would, specifically looking at the younger generation, hit with a more caveated answer. There is, and this is a biological proven fact, that if you were in high school when the iPhone 6 was invented, your brain is wired differently, especially if you're a female. And the reason is that was the first iPhone that could do a selfie. And at the same time, all of those Instagram, Facebook videos and all that took off. They're literally wired differently in terms of how to do connection. What the younger people want, and so you can do the math as far as their age group there, they actually want connection activities together. And most of them are afraid and don't know how to build social networks anymore. They never played pickup basketball. They never ran around and tackled each other in a field for no reason whatsoever. They went on Instagram and judged each other's hair colors. What they want literally is organized playtime. And giving them an activity like that is how you connect that lower group, because they don't have, and again, this is biologically proven, they don't have the connections inside their brains that prior generations went through. It's why they can detect BS through AI, by the way, so easily. But that's part of it. So to give you an answer, I would create basically field trips, fun events that they can do together where it's not necessarily focused on work, but when you have those relationships building up because they now like each other, value each other, connect with each other.
Oh, it's huge. That's team building.
That's it. Yeah. So that's what I would recommend is, again, you can do it for a charity. Everyone goes, runs the 6K or 5K. God, it shows how bad of a runner I am. Everyone goes and runs the 5K.
Where are you running, bro? This 6K. And he's like, why is no one around me?
No one's around me because I never get to the starting line. I don't run for the sake of running.
Oh
sorry,
my God.
Put your hand up and I went on a tangent. I apologize.
Amy, I want to hear from you. And then I even want to chime in on this one.
I do too.
Okay. So Sarah, I what I heard, because my child was coming in and out, you're looking for ways that people want to stay together or stay at a company. Is that correct?
Or just like how to motivate them when money doesn't seem to do it.
So that's where well-being comes in. And when I say well-being, I'm talking about holistic well-being, tying, looking at financial education. People are financially very stressed right now, and they have been. So, helping them navigate on something as small as like learning to create a budget. Other people might want to learn how to, how to start planning for retirement. And this can be done by bringing in free speakers who are qualified. Also, we talked about team building, learning and development, like cross training. And so people feel, again, valued, that they that they'll have a future. Social wellness, we've talked about going to a charity and doing that together is a great team builder. It makes everyone feel good about what they're doing and they're together. Physical wellness. So, we do walking. I promote walking challenges because that is so easy to get people moving, to get them engaged, and to get them outside. You're hitting three huge pillars of wellness there. So I'm all for well-being, for being, because that's what I do.
Being outside does a lot.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
So there's this Department of Labor stat that I typically throw out when I'm selling our HR module. It's like 50 grand, the cost of rehiring, and that's an onboarding, training expenses, rehiring, lost productivity. It costs a lot, Sarah, to bring on somebody else. And we all know as human beings, innately in our spirit, we know when somebody's doing right by us. We may not always appreciate it. Now, we're not, you can't pay them to appreciate it, but they will know. And we can tell that you're a good person because you're concerned about how to make these people happy. So what the team has said, we're all a team, what the team has already said to you is great. The things that you can do to show them that you appreciate them doesn't have to be money, but be creative about, the team building, bringing in the speakers. When your boss gives a damn, and we know when our boss doesn't give a damn. And we can tell you're a great lady, a nice lady. Just project onto them what you're giving us. Just do that. It's not that complicated. You know how to treat people well. Just treat them well.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Mark, go for it, and then I'll pop in at the end and we'll move.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, because you've all said so much right there. But the bottom line is culture. We're all raised a certain way. Sometimes we say, well, women this, men that. Sometimes it's just culture of how we were raised, the people we're raised around. Some men aren't that menish. They're not that macho. Some women are more macho. It's not just gender bias, it's our culture and where we come from. And for everything that we do, there's always the ease of finding something wrong. It's so much easier to find something wrong than it is to find something right because of our culture. We have to think about being right. We have to think about that positive attitude, EII, and I also work with the EI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I work on more on the EII of encouragement, inspiration, and including others. Because if we can do it and just be looking at happiness, positivity, and helping to encourage others, inspire others, and including others will take everything the step forward to where we want to be tomorrow.
Sarah, I'm so happy you asked this question because
Yeah.
I have a rather unique answer for it that makes no sense to me whatsoever until you asked this question. Now I understand why the universe set that up like last week for me. So I do a daily broadcast every day for the last 6 seasons called The Frequency of Abundance. And I put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere else and stuff. And it's just giving back after 30 years as an elite energy coach. And one of the people that follows me is in her low 20s. She identifies as the number 3 and booked a one-on-one with me because I was curious. And I was like, you're completely outside my demographic, right? And I'm pretty sure you don't hang out on Friday nights with a lot of 51-year-old white guys, right? And she's like, not so many, no. And I'm like, so then talk to me. Where in your world, because I'm curious, because she asked me to mentor a little bit here and there. And I said, where in your world does recognition count? And she said, I need something to believe in. I need to know that I'm in a place that's doing something that's moving me forward. It's not just I need to work for a not-for-profit that has a cause. I need to know that my personal function within said cause moves the needle. I need to know that I'm cherished, respected. I need to know that I'm appreciated and needed. And at the same time, I'm not above having my ego bigged up. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, if I'm at a little new company and they don't have a lot of money to pay me, I want them to give me a big ass title. So at least I can put that on my resume and you big up for the next company. Or if they can pay me, that's great, but don't diminish this. And so she wants recognition more than anything and didn't care about the money, like you'd said, as much. She goes, I have what I need. Great. I have a little bit more, super. How much more than more do I need to, like any $1 more than you need in the bank account to live? Magically, you're now abundant. How many more $1 do you need? And it was so cool that she was so young, but so on point and really got that. But a mix of interaction at work, a mix of more involvement, a mix of what you do matters. And yeah, throw a little ego and send a title, man. Send a title.
That resonates really, really well because that's actually kind of articulated very well what I notice in like reviews or when we offer compensation and they're like, yeah, okay. And I was like, wait, what?
You're like, what? It's a big deal, damn it.
And it doesn't land. So like that makes a ton of sense. So thank you for all of your thoughts. That gives me a lot to think about. Thank you.
People will run through a brick wall for somebody that they feel cares about them. I've had lots of district managers over the years, and the ones that in sports they call them players coaches. If you really feel like that person has your back, as opposed to a management coach, you just feel that the person cares about you, and there's nothing you won't do for that person. People just want to feel appreciated. Abundance mindset, and if you show them appreciation in the smallest way, sir, it doesn't have to cost you a bunch of money. You can keep them. Now you go get them, Tiger.
Thank you.
I have
You
a
already have a
question.
very cool place. I love that.
Yes, Vivian.
I worked at a nonprofit And right now, the organization is not bringing in money money to pay people
Okay.
for their work. So how do you create an atmosphere where one they feel valued, two they're engaged, and three how do you create I want to say programs, but that may not be the right word, so that they have work to keep them busy, to keep them engaged, to want to participate and be a part of and feel like they're a part of the organization. So that way you're not losing them and you're searching for them and trying to recruit new people. You know, so how do you build that? Um, I guess that culture, that environment where they want to be, you want them engaged, you want them utilizing their talents that they bring to the table. And I guess for me, how do you as a leader, you got to find out what their talents are, and then create um, activities and things for them to do, so that they're utilizing those gifts and those talents for the mission and the vision that the organization has.
That is so beautiful, Vivian. I love that. I can tell you that there's actually an incredibly, incredibly simple answer. It's
Okay,
literally, it's three letters, ASK.
ask.
Mhm.
Just literally be like what you just said. Hey, I want to know this is the mission. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of ways to recognize you in a monetary sense. However, what would it take to make you interested and excited? What would you want to be impassioned about to come over to us? Just ask and they'll tell you. And then you just either can or I can't, right? Like that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have to be psychic. You don't have to try to figure this out. That would be impressive. That
well,
would be impressive.
another thing to do with them, Vivian, is let them know the value of what it is they're doing and that makes you so unique in what it is that you're doing. Um, if your nonprofit's obviously making a difference in the world and they know you're making a difference by their action is making a difference in a nonprofit vis-a-vis how they're making a difference to the people who are benefiting from you, that can go a long way. I mean, it's knowing that my labor is going towards something important. Then you add appreciation on top of it, the value of the labor, and then the appreciation, being clear about what it is. And there's also something with letting them choose as far as what they want to do. The people might be here trying to, explore their boundaries or go into something else, and they might just find out, I don't know if I like that or not, but I want to try it. And that would be something that I would recommend as a direction.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I appreciate all of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, normally before we get to this point, we would be walking around the table and asking everybody if they had a couple of minutes. But my goodness, everyone was busy today, so everyone popped off early, and that's fine. Everybody who was here gets a full copy of the video. Everybody who registered and didn't come, they get snippets and teasers and haha, you missed it. This was an incredible conversation. You should come next time. Next month, the topics change, the people change. So make sure that you come. Bring a friend. This isn't meant to be a networking event. I don't need 40 people here. I would rather have 14 incredible, heartfelt people that we can all share from. So in that context, this is why we do what we do. If we have a minute, if Vivian, if you can pop back on, Sarah, Heartland, Mike, if we take a minute, just go around, take 30 seconds. If this served you, if this helped, if this was, like I said, what I said it was, if you can share with that so that other people who might want to come that are like, I don't know, man, I don't know. Was it really something that was a benefit? You guys are incredible people. You gave an hour of your time. So we want to really, really thank you for that. Let us know. Go for it, Vivian.
Okay. This was helpful. For me. Um, at one time I worked in HR. I didn't spend a number of years there, but I did the recruiting aspect of HR, and I really enjoyed the opportunity of working with people, especially young people coming out of college. And so just learning about what's going on in the HR world And as a leader, how to keep people engaged, how to build teams, how to build a culture where people feel valued and want to be there, want to show up every day, And I think that the hardest part is, um, you know, I would say communication, taking the time to get to know each person, what their skills are, and how to um, help them cultivate their gifts. Because I think as a leader, it's our job to help that person um, utilize all the skills that they bring to the table, at least the majority of them. Because I think at the end of the day, they are the ones that make the company, that make the organization work. And if they don't feel valued, and if they don't feel that, when they come to work, that they're, utilizing their talent, then they will wind up not wanting to be there and they'll wind up somewhere else. So this was helpful.
Thank you. We appreciate having you here, and your input and your unique situation lends a wonderful conversation so that we can talk about unique things as well. Thank you. Thank you. Harlan, Mike, talk to us.
This was fabulous.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
This is my third networking meeting today. So I'm a member of Nexco. So Nexco is like BNI, only way cooler. So I'm like, I've been networked out, but this was actually very, I don't know, dare I say sweet, and it kind of a little emotionally tear jerking there for us. I'm like, what are we having? Is this a spiritual moment we're having together? I'm not sure, but it was cool. I loved it. I was hanging out with you cool kids. We got the cool kids left. See, all the rest of them bailed. This is this core group, cool kids. So I wanted to thank you for this. I had no idea. I've been on a lot of, these types of calls through LinkedIn, and normally they're not worth 2 nickels, but this one was actually very, very nice. So if this is a monthly thing you got going on here?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll be back next month. Old Heartland Mike will show up and, hang out with
Thank
y'all.
you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Sarah, talk to us.
Well, I follow Natan, so I just popped in, and I think this is the value of inviting yourself to a party that you wouldn't normally be invited to. I am a marketer, and I think about marketing all day, and it's just been so refreshing to talk to people who work in other areas and think about other things. I've already learned so much just from being with you guys and thinking about things in a different way. So I appreciate you letting me join and learn from you all.
Oh, Sarah. Cyber hug, Sarah.
I love it. I love it. Joe, you a happy guy?
Mike, I love your love here, guys. And also, you guys all work great. I'd love the chance to actually meet you in a one-on-one context. I put my Calendly link in there if you guys want to find
a one-on-one friendly. Chat me up on LinkedIn. We can do a virtual one-on-one. You too, Sarah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see people because I can't type for shit. So that's why I do the calls here. If you'd be cool with that. It's funny, how much the world's changed. I remember my 3rd grade teacher telling me you can never rely on those little red squiggly lines at the bottom of the page, and I never learned how to spell. I mean, I was at best a C- speller, and
Hold
now
on, what the hell, red
world,
squiggly?
I don't even need how to spell at all. I just talk to
what
the
squiggly lines are you talking about? What
the
do you
ones
mean?
on Microsoft Word that told you spelled the word wrong.
Oh.
You could rely on those. Now I just talk to it, and it will translate it for me into what I really meant. I actually dictated my book, for crying out loud. I did that on my way to getting a physical therapy for my broken shoulder. I'm like, you don't even know how to spell anything anymore.
How crazy is that, Joe? We share the same story. My first book, I had an editor that was helping me out, and I reached over to get a box just sitting on my passenger side door from my drivers. Open the door, reach over, didn't aim, and here's the door, and and went snap, and this finger just snapped here. Sounded like a shotgun went off. I'm like, oh no, that's not good. And I couldn't pick up a coffee cup for 6 months. Everything's fine now, woohoo! But in the meantime, I'm in the middle of writing a book. And my editor says, just dictate the rest to me and I'll take care of it. And I literally, like you, dictated the rest of my book. How crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. What a blessing. You guys, it has been super wicked awesome sauce to have you all here. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, for being open, vulnerable. Thank you for coming forward. Thank you for grabbing some time with Joe. The stuff he does is so different, and it might help either you or somebody that you know. I love that. I love that. If I can help you or any way, we're a not-for-profit, so we're here to make a bigger splash for everybody. In the meantime, Joe, we thank you for this, and you can stop the recording.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, you all.
Everybody have a great day, okay?
You
too.
too.
Thank you, everybody.